What's happening, everybody? Bob Wankel, CrossingBroad.com. Wild Card Weekend is upon us. If you're looking to bet on this weekend's action, head over to CrossingBroad.com/DK. Download DraftKings Sportsbook. They have a $500 risk-free first bet offer, in addition to up to a $500 first deposit match offer. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to run through this weekend's slate of games, take a look at the current odds, totals, look at some of the pertinent trends for each contest, and at the end we'll wrap it up, make some game picks, work through it. So up first we have the Buffalo Bills on the road playing the Houston Texans. Currently Buffalo's a 2.5-point underdog. Total set at 43 points. Some things to know, information that I was able to dig up ahead of going through this video. Underdogs of 2.5 points or less are 28-2 ATS in the postseason going back to 2003. That includes 13-4-1 against the spread on the road. So that sets up very well for Buffalo. Also, they're outstanding as an underdog with Josh Allen at quarterback. 10-5-2 ATS as an underdog, 7-2-2 ATS as a road underdog with Josh Allen under center. If there's a concern for Buffalo in this game, it's that quarterbacks making their first postseason start were only 1-3 last season. They're 9-15 going back to 2010 and 15-32 going all the way back to the 2002 season. So that is a little bit problematic. Houston's certainly the more experienced team here. One thing that you should know if you're looking at the totals, the over is 26-10 in indoor playoff games since the 2003 postseason. So that bodes well for the over. Houston did lose last year in the wild card round, 21-7 at home with the closed roof to the Indianapolis Colts. All right, our next game is on Saturday night. The New England Patriots host the Tennessee Titans. Patriots are a 5-point favorite, total set at 44. New England obviously coming off an embarrassing loss to the Miami Dolphins in Week 17 that cost the Patriots a first-round bye. Remember last time the Pats hosted a home game in the wild card round was back in the 2009 season. They got their doors blown off by the Baltimore Ravens behind a strong run game. A lot of people think that Derrick Henry is going to be able to replicate that type of performance and lead the Titans to an upset road victory. Something to like if you're on the Titans. Postseason underdogs of 4.5 to 5.5 points are 10-4 ATS. That obviously bodes well for Tennessee, but I have a hard time going against the Patriots at home in the postseason. Bottom line here is they are 19-2 straight up in their last 21 home games. They're 8-1 in their last 9 postseason games at home. They're also 42-17 ATS after a loss, including 15-4 ATS following a loss at home. Those are overwhelming historical trends, and that is why Bill Belichick and Tom Brady are the best. Do you really want to bet on Ryan Tannehill to go on the road and pull this upset? Maybe you do. We'll get to my picks in a little bit. Something to consider about the totals. Since 2003, the under is 40-24 in the wild card round, 34-13 in non-dome games. So that's something to consider, even though the over is 9-1 in Ryan Tannehill's 10 starts with Tennessee this season. And since 2003, the over is 6-3 in Patriots postseason home games with a closing total of less than 45 points. Up next, we have the New Orleans Saints. They're going to be hosting the Minnesota Vikings on early Sunday afternoon. The public is all over the Saints in this game. They're a 7.5-point favorite, total set at 50. Some things to know: home favorites of at least 7.5 points, as the Saints currently are. They're 9-2 against the spread in the wild card round, 3-0 ATS when favored between 7.5 and 8 points, if we want to shrink down that spread range just a little bit. However, the Saints are only 2-5 ATS at home in the postseason, going back to the 2007 season, so they have not been a good cover team in the Dome. And postseason underdogs of 7 to 10 points are 31-16-1 against the spread, 22-11-1 ATS as dogs between 7 and 9 points. I know it's Kirk Cousins. I get that the Saints are red hot. They're arguably the NFC's best team, but we see historically speaking that underdogs in this spread range tend to excel in the playoffs. And this is, I think, maybe the strongest and most relevant trend of the weekend. Betting against the public in the postseason on big favorites. So we're talking about teams that are 7 points or favored by 7 points or more. When the public's on those teams, they don't cover. So hear me out here. When the spread is at least 7 points, betting against the public is 25-13-1 ATS. It's 23-6-1 ATS when the spread is between 7 and 10 points. Let me just say that one more time. 23-6-1 against the spread when the public is on a team and the spread is between 7 and 10 points. That is outrageous. Terms of the total, the over is 26-10 in indoor playoff games since the 03 season. It's 9-5 in indoor postseason games with a total of at least 49.5 points. And as we said, this one is set at 50 as we speak. And then that takes us into the final game of the weekend between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Seattle Seahawks. Eagles are a 2-point home underdog, total set at 45. All right, so some trends to know in this game. Teams entering the playoffs on a 4-game winning streak. Obviously, the Eagles rode a red-hot December into the postseason. Like I said, teams that are on a 4-game winning streak are only 6-9 ATS, including an abysmal 2-7 against the spread at home. However, Seattle, brutal loss last week at home to the San Francisco 49ers, lost out on an NFC West Division title. Now they got to go across the country. Road teams that lose their final regular season game are 6-13-1 ATS on Wild Card Weekend, including 0-3 ATS as a road favorite. That is extremely problematic for the Seahawks in this game. Underdogs of 2.5 points or less are 17-4-2 against the spread in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs, including 12-2-2 ATS in the wild card round. So that also sets up pretty well for the Eagles. In terms of the total, the under is 14-9 in non-Super Bowl postseason games when the total closes between 44 and 45.5 points. And it's 7-2 in the wild card round. The under is also 40-24 in the wild card round and 34-13 in non-dome games. So all signs point to the under in this contest. All right, so let's make our picks for Wild Card Weekend. First game, you have the Bills at the Houston Texans. Buffalo's a short underdog in this game. To me, we saw what the Texans are all about last postseason. They lose at home to the Indianapolis Colts 21-7. To be perfectly honest with you, I think we're going to see a similar type of game. I don't trust Bill O'Brien. I think that Sean McDermott's the better coach. This team does not rush the passer all that well. The Houston Texans do not. Even if they get back J.J. Watt, I think that Josh Allen's going to be able to extend some plays using his legs. Houston does not tackle all that well, and I believe that they're going to go on the road, as many teams have done early in the playoffs, as a short underdog and get the job done. Give me the Bills to both win the game and cover the spread. As for the other AFC game, the Titans and Patriots, I know there's a strong belief that Derrick Henry in this power run game is going to go up to New England and hand the Patriots an early playoff exit. Ryan Tannehill has been outstanding. He's been the league's highest rated passer in the last 10 weeks of the season. And Tannehill and Henry are both 7-2 ATS when they're both on the field together. That being said, the Patriots are lights out at home. It's Tom Brady, it's Bill Belichick, and the public is starting to turn on the Patriots a little bit. I do think they're going to have an early playoff exit, just not this early. Give me the Patriots to win the game and cover the 5-point spread. Now, over in the NFC, you have the Minnesota Vikings on the road against the New Orleans Saints. The public is pummeling the Saints in this game. I'm going against the public. We saw earlier the trend about betting against the public in games where there is a big spread. I'm going to do that here. I'm taking Minnesota. I think that Kirk Cousins can make enough plays to keep the Vikings close in this game, so I'm going to take the largest underdog of the week to cover the spread, though I do believe that the Saints will win the football game. And then that takes us finally to the Eagles and Seahawks, Lincoln Financial Field, last game of the weekend. Eagles are a short home underdog. I don't believe that the Eagles should be the underdog in this game. I think that they are the better team. I know all about the injuries, and to me it just doesn't really matter. The Eagles have a better point differential. They outgain their opponents, whereas Seattle has been outgained this season. I think that Seattle, frankly, is a product of good fortune and a good quarterback that is dragging along a very mediocre team. And you might say, well, hey, that's the Eagles too. And that may be so, but they have home field advantage, and this defense under Jim Schwartz has excelled over the last few seasons at Lincoln Financial Field. I am taking the Eagles to both cover the spread and win the game outright. And I actually like one more play this weekend as well. Like I said, I do believe that Minnesota can cover the 7.5-point spread, but I love the Saints in a tease option this week. Take them down from 7.5 to 1.5 at DraftKings Sportsbook. And you can pair that with the Eagles right now, getting 8 points. Seattle is not good enough to blow anybody out. The Eagles are playing pretty good football right now. I expect them to win the game outright, so I will take that +8 all day. So again, teaser option to close out our picks. Take the Eagles with the 8 points and the Saints down to 1.5. If you're looking to bet on this weekend's action, again, we suggest that you head over to crossingbroad.com/DK, download DraftKings Sportsbook. Tons of great offers there, including a $500 risk-free bet and up to a $500 first deposit match. Also head over to crossingbroad.com/FB. Download FoxBet. They'll give you $20 just for signing up and match your first deposit up to $100.